We're going to be navigating the trucking business today, like we do every week in one form or another. Jeff did a thing this week. What did he do? Some of you know, some of you don't know. Some of you are going to be like, what the hell happened? Come right back. We're going to be here. We're going to share all that. Hey, bring your questions. This is all about you today.
Paying too much for trucking insurance? What if you could save more by making one simple phone call and keep more profit? You could very well do just that with one simple call to Seabright Agency, 800-366-6466. Call now.
Now here's a question that all owner-operators and small fleet owners should consider. What happens when you access the unrivaled advantages that are available through the ES Advantage program? We asked Jeff and Charlie from Contractors Corner to share their thoughts on how they've been able to utilize the discounts and services that are a part of the ES Advantage.
Your business will make you money if you do well at that business. And ES Advantage in trucking, they do really well at providing those services. So the effect that ES has had on our personal trucking operations, not even talking about what we do on the consulting arena, I've been able to save thousands of dollars a year in fuel because of the relationship with them. I have a new accountant that I work with, trucker CFO, that I learned about from ES Advantage.
They're giving you that 10,000 yard kind of support from behind that creates a way for you to succeed, which is one of the things that we love, because anything you can do to help someone succeed is going to help them succeed. They make money by making sure you make money.
Now, if you're an owner-operator or small fleet owner and you would like to learn more about how you can drive savings to the bottom line of your business, the ES Advantage program has the discounts and services that deliver the kind of unrivaled advantages that are designed to help you improve your overall operation. Get connected with the ES Advantage today.
Stop it. You know I've been up since 3 this morning.
Oh,
Man.
this is great. I'm like, well, I'm going to put him up and him all by himself, just all alone.
Took me a second to even register.
Hey, everybody. It's Tuesday. Jeff, like you said, he's been up since like 3 o'clock this morning. Was out there fighting the winds across Wyoming and trying to get a load dropped and all this other kind of nonsense and crazy stuff. You know, trucking. Whatever.
Yeah,
and I didn't get home till 3:30 this morning, and then got up with the grandkids this morning because I didn't want them to go to school without seeing them, and then I just never went back to sleep. So it's going to be a day. It's going to be fun. Hope y'all are doing well. By the way, let's get it out of the way. Who was first? It was the, good God, Craig Hutchinson once again, right there. Bam! You know, it's funny. He had competition. There was a dude, Chris, who was trying to beat him, but didn't have a YouTube account set up. So he couldn't type in the comments. He's like, man, it won't let me. It was good. Craig, good to see you, buddy.
You gotta prepare.
Right? Oh, let's see. Donna's here. Trigger Fly Rabbit, what's going on? Matt Nissen. Peekaboo. James Vaughn, can't pronounce it. I know it's like a hello, greetings, all that good stuff. I got you. Sean Fairman's like replay warrior, but he was here live. I'm just saying, man. Good on you. Glad you're here. Good to see you. Live on
maybe he just logged in while he was on the throne and
that's hot.
And went back to work.
That's hot on the throne.
I talked to Life on 18 Wheels in Denver yesterday. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, he's going to do some videos on how to do
whatever
stuff. And he might even do an airbag video. I don't know. I talked to him about that a little bit.
You know what? Jim Wall, good to see you, buddy. Brian Jess said he's driving and listening, headed back to the Sunshine State from Macon, South Carolina. Tim the Trucker Sayburn just got parked in Whitey, Kentucky. Oh Lord.
Indeed.
Hey, Craig, Matt's in Rochelle again. In case you're around there. Look, there he is. He's still here. He's still here live. He says.
Okay.
I don't even know how to handle this. It's just crazy. You know what we should do real quick? Let's do this fuel thing.
Okay.
Let's share that because let me put the banner up across the bottom of the screen for Swift folks. So if you're a Swift contractor, here's your standard OTR van fuel surcharge. There you go. Or what they call the fuel protection program. I don't know. It's a weird name. Anyhow.
They're trying to be different. It's a fuel
I know.
surcharge.
Let me get rid of that. Dang it. I failed. Right there. Can't see it.
It's a marketing gimmick.
Right. Gimmick. So, West Coast or the U.S. I can't talk. Why am I talking?
Jeff, went down.
The national average. Where did it do? It went down.
Yep.
It went down 5.5 cents.
Yep.
West Coast PAD 5 went down 8.5 cents. You guys that are out there negotiating these rates, I hope you're checking the EIA website on a regular basis so you can keep track of the fuel prices. Yeah, I mean that's a negotiating point for you guys. How much is fuel going to cost where you're going?
Yes.
Hope you're paying attention. Hope it helps you out. You can get this report emailed to you every Monday. Just saying. Usually comes out.
Your email address in there. It comes around 5:00 in the afternoon, my time. That's Central Time. Does it come?
No, it's 5:00.
5:00 Eastern, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything today.
Right. Tim Ransom, good to see you, buddy. He said he dropped down from Salt Lake on Highway 6 to I-70.
How was that? How was that? This time of year, I try to avoid Highway 6, but
6 can be sketchy, like for real.
I'll take the 70 over the 6 this time of year.
It's it's
a beautiful drive, though, dude.
It is. I love it in the late
this time of year. This time of year, it's a really nice drive in a snowmobile.
Right. Tim said it was nice.
Yeah.
So
kind of lucked out going over the passes today. They had the chain law up just a couple of days ago up on part of this pass. For those of you that are familiar with the West,
right?
It was dry as a bone today. Thank you.
Right.
Because I did not. As tired as I am right now, I don't know, man. I might have chained up and gone to bed and missed the show because it would have ended me to have to chain up, I think.
James said it's 80 degrees out there in California and Arizona.
Oh, nice.
It was not that here. I don't know what it was. So, you guys, we don't have a real set topic today. We got a couple of things we want to talk about, like what Jeff did this week. We had an update on. We were having some problems with that accident travel, trying to get you home after an accident coverage deal. There's a little miscommunication amongst folks. So here's the way that accident coverage is going to have to work. If you're solo, it works just like we said, and you saw it. It's all good. If you are a team, you need to have 2 policies, one for each driver, guys.
Yeah, it's one for each person in the truck.
Just so that's clear.
And there, just to explain a little bit, there is a reason for that. With 2 people, it is twice the expense to get you home.
Right. 2 plane tickets and all that.
So yeah, the coverage is going to be per person.
If you have someone on the truck that's a passenger, that's a non-driver, and you have that coverage, you should probably get that coverage for them. And guess what? You call CRIP, hey, can I get coverage for my snuffleupagus for the month? And they'll be like, gotcha. And they'll cover you for the month.
Yep.
And then just cancel at the end of the month and it's all good.
Yep. Easy peasy.
What if you're triplets in a truck? Craig's got to be difficult. Then
Craig, we don't want to hear about your crazy libertine lifestyle, Craig.
Oh Lord. But yeah, so that's that. Jeff, let's dip into what you did today.
Hold on, we need to address Blackbeard's thing real quick.
Uh-oh.
Throw that up there, Charlie. I'm too
Oh,
lazy.
I got that. I know it.
Yep, I looked
I just
over
did
the
it.
new ICOA and Swift Insurance is automatically checked. Yes or no option to opt out of it. Yes, there is. You have to tell them. Just don't sign it until they do the right thing and
Right.
click no. That's it.
Call Michelle
Um,
or whomever your
Charlie's was the same way. It was
Yep.
checked yes, and he said, "Nay, Ether Bunny, I ain't doing that. You need to redo that," and they did.
And if for some reason you don't already have the OCAC swapped over,
Yeah,
it's going to be change.
apparently it's an all or nothing deal. So if you switch to the Seabright on your FizzDam and all that stuff, you're gonna need to switch to Seabright on your OCAC.
Right.
I don't know why it's an all or nothing thing. I tried to talk to them about that, and I got no answer, no good answer at all. Well,
Doesn't
we can't
matter.
change it. I'm like, well,
You're going
fine.
to do better anyhow.
Yeah, you're gonna pay a little less, and you know, I told them it wasn't Becky. If it was Becky, I probably would have been more mean because I can do that with her. But
Oh,
you know,
you're going to
I
pay
told
more
them,
than a little less. You're going to pay $250, about $250 less a year,
right?
because you're not paying that yearly fee that I always
Oh,
forgot about.
right. Yeah,
Right.
that we all just kind of ignored.
Right.
So I got kind of a little bit uppity, Charlie, when my ICOA came up and I went through that. I'm like, well, you know, I wasn't on outside OCAC before, but I am now. So I guess you just lost another piece of
Right.
coverage from me.
It's another revenue line.
It's your revenue stream. I'll arrange for it. Just check no.
Bear Hunter's not driving. Woo!
What? You better
Sean,
get out there, man. You
did
got
you hear
bills to pay.
Did you hear what I said about the accident coverage? You would need it for you and Stephanie. Each need your own policy.
Right.
Got it settled out. It'll be worked out. Oh, Blackbeard said he got all the bells and whistles through Seabright though. So there you go. Yeah, just call whoever your point of contact is at Rapid, whether it's Michelle Cantrell or Becky or whomever it is. Let them know that you need that contract change to opt out of their insurance, and they will do that. They'll email you a copy. You'll have to do a DocuSign and send it back to them. You're good to go. Yeah, no big deal. I just did it last week. Jeff had to do it. Yep. It's all good.
Yeah, mine comes up every October now that it's every year. There's too much things, man. It's like every month it's something.
I know.
Jiminy Christmas. For those of you that own your trucks, you know, you got your what is it, the 2290 every year you got to do that. Most people forget about and end up paying late. Or not at all. I was talking to a guy the other day that hadn't paid his for like 3 years because he just didn't know.
Oh.
And they actually did come after him for it.
I believe they would.
He got a nasty gram in the mail and said, "Pay up or else." And he's like, "Oh shoot, okay,
my bad."
Paid up. Okay, so should Jeff come clean?
Yes, Jeff did a thing. Some people know.
Some people know. Some people guessed.
And he got outed. So if you saw
Swiftly, and I got outed by Michelle Cantrell, my good former friend Michelle Cantrell.
Right.
Excuse me. On the Swift owner operator live last week, she outed me.
Right.
I leased a 22 truck this week. And Charlie and I Charlie and I talked about this before I did it. Colton and I talked about this before we did it. Donna and I talked about this before I did it. Who else? I talked to Alan Becker before I did it. I talked to, gosh, I have a point here, by the way, guys. So this was not a willy-nilly decision that I made. It was absolutely a business decision. Emotionally, Charlie could tell you I'm a wreck right now.
He is traumatized.
But it was 100% a business decision. Because as you all know, death before company for me. I will go work at a warehouse before I will go back to being a company driver. Yeah, it's just me. That's not saying that everybody needs to be that hardcore on it. But, you know, for me being in business, that's the whole point. So I did what was best for my business. My 16 truck is in the backyard now, and that's going to be my video truck. We're going to fix it up as I have time and get it back on the road. The goal to do that is within the next year or so. And we're going to be doing a small fleet. That's what the plan is going forward. And then the 22 will be the first truck in that small fleet. And for those of you that want to follow that, we're going to be doing that through the Facebooks and the Instagrams and all that stuff. As I make decisions, I'll tell you guys what they are and why I made those decisions. But I can tell you that Charlie and I have talked about this for a long time. The real plan is to create sort of a Contractors Academy. You know, those of you, I know that most of you that listen to us are already contractors or out there on your own with your own numbers, whatever. But you know those tire kickers, Charlie? The ones that are always asking the same question. We've got some of them that ask us the same exact questions that have been asking the same question for 3-4 years.
Yes.
So what we would like to do is say, hey, why don't you come work for us for a year? I've got this truck, and we will show you how we make our money. And so in about 6 months, I'm going to be looking for my first guy for that. And yeah. Thank you, by the way, to Alan Becker that doesn't listen to us anymore because he's a fair weather friend, for being the guinea pig on some of this stuff, because that dude, Charlie, and I, man, that dude has no problem whatsoever with risk, does he?
Right.
That dude, you tell him an idea, he's like, hey, I'll try it. And I'm like, yeah, you try that, Alan. Let's see how that works for you. And it's a lot of fun. But so getting back to how many people I talked to before I pulled the trigger on this, you know how we always tell you, you know, have your team. I talked to everybody I consider members of my team and said, you know, it's looking like it's going to take this much more money to fix the 16 plus the downtime. Yes, I could get a rental, but that's going to cost a lease payment anyway because I don't have the sweet deal with IAL anymore.
Right.
So this, that, the other thing, and I wanted to build the small fleet anyway, so why not just start now? And we put the 16 in the backyard for a while, and over the months, as I have time, wrench on it and get it fixed back up to where it's roadworthy again, and not costing me the downtime.
Right.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. I mean, you know, ideally, this is why I'm an emotional wreck. Is I've been 2.5 years without payments, man. 2.5 years of when I come home saying, you know, I've still got about 3 weeks worth of money in the bank to pay my bills, and I don't have a truck payment. I'm just going to take another week off.
Yeah.
And that was really, really nice, Charlie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't I know?
And now I'm going to have to say, okay, well, I have money in the bank. Do I have the $595 for the lease payment?
Right.
And that's the other thing too. You know, did we mention that last week, Charlie? That the lease payments
touched on it a little bit.
So they did. I don't know about the new trucks. We need to find out about the new trucks. But on the ones that are either second owner or MRP, they have reevaluated the value of those trucks. So my 22 is 2 years old, right? And it's got another 2 years and some change left on the lease on it. So it's got 140,000 miles on it as of today. It just turned 140 today. So still got plenty on the warranty for those of you that really harp on the warranty stuff. My payment on that truck is $595 a week. So almost $100 less than what a lot of people are paying right now. And the balloon payment is going to be 66 instead of 80. So Charlie and I did not expect Swift to do this. So good on them.
Right.
For actually looking at the market and realizing, hey, trucks went down. So maybe we reevaluate that. And they
excuse me.
And you know, at least it's that's the case on the trucks that, like I say, like mine, there was someone in it before me, obviously, because it's 2 years old. I don't know about the new trucks though. We need to ask Michelle that question, Charlie, and see if they changed the payments. Now. If they changed the payments on the new trucks or not. Because what What was it on the Kenworth? It's over 700 now, wasn't it?
It's
Last we heard.
704? No, 670 and 696. I think it was something like
Okay,
that.
so almost 700. So yeah, Sean. So my total by the time I paid this truck off will be 126,000 and change. So that's not bad, I think. Especially in a truck that, unless I put a team in it, a solo truck. So far, I've only had it for a week, so we'll see. But so far, no major problems. The only thing is I have it in the shop right now for some of those cosmetic stuff. So check this out, Charlie. You know the safety restraints in the sleeper for the bunk?
Uh-huh.
The guy that had it before me cut those out with a knife.
That's just crazy.
I mean, I can't remember the size, but it's a Torx head bolt. I mean, you need the longer handle to get the torque on it, right? To get the bolt loose.
Right.
That's all it is 3 bolts. Boom, boom, boom. You take it out, you put the bolts back. There you go. The divider curtain between the sleeper and the front of the cab is missing.
Right.
I mean, I don't need one, but what if I put a team in it? So, but here's the other thing, guys. You got that 30-day warranty thing, right? And I learned the lingo. It's called a point of sale claim. Point of sale. That's the magic word. That's what you tell the shop. If you find anything wrong with your truck, it's a point of sale claim, and IEL takes care of it. So there's, about $600-700 worth of stuff that I'm like, hey, this ain't right. If I'm paying for this truck, I want it to be right. And they're just taking care of it.
Wow.
So yeah, I got accused of being a Charlie by Michelle.
What did you do to Bungie?
Hey, Matt, just for you, because I want you specifically to be able to find me and give me a hug. I'm going to put bungees on the front of this truck.
We talked about that today too. It's funny.
Well, it's kind of become my signature, right? So I got to have bungees on my truck. So.
Oh yeah. So Nicholas Earl said no notifications today. We were late putting up the show link to start with, so that may have had something to do with it. We did it less than an hour before the show, so I don't know. It should have went out. I mean, other people saw it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a busy day for both of us. So we apologize for that. But
yeah.
And he also wants a Volvo, he says. And you know what? I'm not laughing because there's a dude, and I always forget his name, Charlie, but there's this guy out there that's getting 10.5 miles to the gallon running a Volvo with a Volvo motor.
Right.
And I talked to him via messaging a couple times, and I said, so are you slowing down? Are you doing what, like 62, 60? Are you always light? Are you doing this? He's like, no, man. And he showed me some of his books, and he's running freight just like everybody else. Sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's light. But he is working directly with Volvo.
Right.
And they're continually tuning his truck remotely.
Yep.
And he's got some incredible numbers. So incredible that he's been called a liar before.
Right.
I've seen this on Facebook. And he's like, oh, okay, well, you want to see my balance sheets? You want to see my, this?
Right.
And he produces actual like spreadsheets from his CPA, and it's legit, dude.
So yes, Nick, Jeff got a 22 Freightliner. Just to catch you up. We just talked about that, but just catch you up. Sean was asking, what's the trans combo does the new truck have?
Same. It's got the DD15 and the D12.
Yep. We were matching RPMs yesterday. His and mine match up identically.
Yeah, so the new ones apparently are geared just slightly lower than my old one was, is what we figured out.
Right.
Not very much, so I'm going to play around with it. I'm actually going to drive like you, Bear Hunter, for the first 30 days and just go balls out for a month, and then I'm going to slow it down.
Barb said hers is 705. Hi, Barb. By the way, I'm bad. I'm catching up.
Is she in a Volvo or Kenworth?
She's in a KW, I believe.
Okay.
Okay, Bear Hunter. I'm going back to Bear Hunter real quick. Sorry, just to jump around a little bit before I forget. Bear Hunter and I and a dude named Rick had a chat on the phone yesterday, and he's been having a hard time and all this kind of stuff. And so here's the funny part. I actually made the recommendation because he was talking about having a good connection at a different company where he could go back company driver. His lease is up. He just completed a lease. So he has the option to turn it in and walk away or get a new truck, right? He's at that point, but he was being told $2,200 a week as a company driver on a dedicated type deal. I'm like, man, if that's the deal, then absolutely, but make sure it's the right deal. Make sure it's real. And Bear Hunter followed up here in the chat. He said, he called up Rick called up his old employer, talked to them as well as an owner on that account, and turns out it's not greener on the other side.
I'd be interested to know what that whole story is.
So his brand new 24 just came in that he had already ordered and is sitting at Greer. So he's going to stick it out. So
nice.
Best of luck, Rick. I hope it works out. Yeah, man, it's going to be tough. Basically what happened is he lost his co-driver, at least temporarily. Well, time will tell whether it's long-term family stuff, had to go home and take care of some stuff there. And that's fine. I mean, I would never crack on anything for that sort of thing. That's for sure. But yeah, so yeah, I'm glad to hear that he did the right thing and actually made the call before making the jump and talked to a couple people there.
Absolutely.
When we were talking yesterday, it was like, oh yeah, it's this, it's that, it's that's what it is. And then today's a new story. So I'm glad to know that some more research went into that. There was something else. Oh yeah, Tim the Trucker Saburn. I did get clarification that while it pays to get you home, it will not pay to get you back to the truck once it's repaired. So that can make your options a bit tricky. However, I am still waiting on an answer from Tony about that very specific question. You may have spoken to Sandy or someone else in the office, Tim, and they honestly just don't have the answer yet. We're pinning people down on the insurance side through Tony to get a very specific answer. I'm going to say that I wouldn't actually expect them to get me back to the truck. It's just me. I mean, maybe that's what everybody else wants. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say no to a free ride back, but I wouldn't expect it. Look, man, if they got me home after the accident, I'm going to tell you right now, man, that by itself is the thing, because then I can just be home and heal. And, worst case, I hop a bus to get back. Once the truck is done and I'm healed up and things aren't broken any worse. So I don't know, man.
I mean,
waiting.
And the other thing to think about too is if I'm not injured, I might need to go home to take care of a few things. But if I'm not injured, I'm in a rental truck the next day.
Right.
And then, I could tell you that. So I had to fly down to Lancaster to pick this truck up, and airfare was only like $360, and then it was a $30 Uber ride. So about $450 got me to my truck. I mean, that's not too bad. And if you're working in the meantime, you just plan for it. Maybe if you got one of the Swift rental trucks, maybe you had your accident, like, I don't know, in Atlanta, and you could just turn that rental truck in at the terminal there and Uber to your truck. There's options.
Right.
I agree with Charlie that I it's not something that I had thought about or would expect them to get me back to my truck. If it turns out that they do that, bonus.
Right.
That's why I look at it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too.
Main thing is if I'm man, the Army's coming out of me, Charlie. if I'm broke, Dick, okay,
right,
and they get me home, I'm happy. I mean, that's the truck. I'll worry about that later.
Right.
The important thing is I got home to my loved ones and I can recuperate at home.
Yeah, Barb's back in the KW. Her Volvo had electrical issues.
Okay.
Nick said, if I were to get a new truck, do I get to pick or no? Well, so if you complete a lease, I know they'll let you order one, and then there's like this backlog 5 months or so wait period, and basically you're picking the color.
Well, yeah.
Maybe a couple other options.
So we've seen a lot of different things happen in the last 18 years, Charlie.
Yeah, true.
So when I picked up my 2012 Freightliner, I ordered that thing with the leather seats, the this, the that, all that stuff.
Right.
When I got rid of that truck, and a lot of you already know my story on that one, the 2012s, man, they just should never have been produced.
Right.
Those were almost all of them failed. The model year 2012 Freightliners. So I ended up terminating that lease early and making a deal. But because I made a deal, I didn't get to order my third truck.
Right.
So it was, well, we have this one in the yard.
You want it?
You want it? Because that's what we've got. Now you could choose between these 30 Kenworths or this one Freightliner.
Right.
Type of thing.
And the 30 Kenworths, they're all the same except the color.
That's right. And then we saw during COVID, no, it was just what they could get into the country.
Right. Whatever you got, they got a hold of.
There wasn't even a choice of color, man. Do you want blue or blue? Because what they were doing to try and keep the lease program going was they were actually converting company trucks to lease trucks to get during COVID, because there just weren't any trucks, man.
They had just gotten mine to Greer, just put the company decals on it, the camera and all that stuff. And Michelle stole it out of their fleet and reserved it for me. And that's what I'm driving today.
Yep. Did you make that banner, Charlie, that I asked you to make?
I did not. Shut up, man.
I have to take pressure off myself here.
I was looking at that question. Nicholas Earl said, anyone got Michelle's number? Damn it, Jeff's going to punch me in the junk right now.
So I had it last week, and I put it in up last week, but that is buried in a text message that's about 2 miles long at this point.
I might be able to pull it out of email. Let me see. Not that one. Not that one. It's funny. She didn't send me signature blocks on anything anymore.
She's afraid. She's very afraid.
It just says Michelle. Whatever. Leave me alone, Charlie. Michelle.
Yeah.
I will look it up here at some point.
So
I will.
So yeah, and Donna made a good point the other day. And Charlie, you made this point too, but I'm going to give credit to my wife because I'm smart.
Well played.
So we went from not knowing what to do to having a new truck in 2 days.
Right.
Why? Because I have fostered that relationship with Michelle for a while now. I knew, hey, Michelle, I need a truck. And she's like, I've got you. And it took her about an hour to search the system. And she knows what specs I wanted. And she found one. It was in Lancaster. And she said, I'm reserving it for you right now. You tell me that.
Wait. There's more to that story.
Is there?
What Jeff said was, hey, Addison, hey, Michelle.
Oh, yeah.
Which one he's going to produce first?
Right. Yeah, I did do that. Michelle was like, bam.
Like it was no competition.
Yep.
I don't personally know Addison, but really, come on, bro.
I'm going to be doing an interview with him, and I'll just put this out there because if I don't, I won't do it, because you know how it is, Charlie. We have to put pressure on ourselves.
Right.
But this whole debate between MRP and new, Addison has an opinion on that, and we're going to have a sit down and we're going to discuss that on camera.
Nice.
And then we're going to edit it and put it out. And it's an interesting conversation that I had with him about a month ago. We sat and talked about, if you're ever in West Valley and Addison's actually in his office, it's worth going to talk to him, guys, because this dude, he used to own trucks himself. He spent some time as a broker at Landstar. he actually knows our business. Okay, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So you sit and talk to him about stuff, and he actually knows what the heck you're talking about. It's great. So he's got an actual opinion on MRP versus new that goes all the way down to what's the market doing right now.
Right.
And he can produce numbers, and we're going to do that. And I'm going to get that out sometime probably in January. Drive White's, how is the truck life on 18 wheels wants? Current fuel mileage sucks because I'm driving at 70 miles an hour in Wyoming.
Right. Gross.
Yeah, that gross with a load of beer that's at gross weight.
Yeah.
And
50 mile an hour winds.
I'm kind of doing that on purpose because I have the opportunity on a newer truck to do some experimentation, and I kind of already know what the results are going to be just from experience.
Right.
But I'm going to actually do the experiment. So I'm going to run pedal to the metal for the next 30 days. And then I'm going to start slowing it down, and we're going to see where the thing likes to live.
Are you using max mileage in it yet?
No.
Okay. Are you going to be doing that?
So full disclosure, I can't afford a cheese sandwich right now.
That's fair.
And I'll start using max mileage when my finances settle down. It's going to take me a few weeks.
Shoot you a load over here to Florida. I'll give you a gallon, bro. I got you.
Yeah, but then I got to get out of Florida.
Well, look, I was hooking you up on the in. I can't help you out. Out has been something else this last couple of weeks. Reading like the Facebooks and all that. Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Like, I got loaded into Florida and I've been here 97 days. I'm like, sweet Lord, run, bro. Go to Target. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, Target down there with you, I think it's okay for us to say, if you guys are a team.
Oh yeah, you can make
call right now. Because we know some guy, we know at least one small fleet owner that was said, yeah, how many trucks can you bring? And so he's taking a couple of his trucks down there,
right,
to run through the holidays at least. So they're always be looking for that stuff, guys. If you're at a megacorp like we are, Utah, Walmart is not the place.
Right. They just booted all their surge.
They just booted their entire surge last week because my last load in the 16 I actually delivered there. All leaking fluids all over the place. It was great. Had to put another gallon of coolant in to get it home.
Rolling around like a stuck pig.
Yeah. And I asked him, I said, so I'm gonna go be getting a new truck in Texas. It'll take me about a week to get back. Hey, you guys need surge for the holidays? And they're like, dude, we just let all of our surge go. And they had like 30 surge guys.
They're like, not just no, but F no.
I'm like, well, crap, because I just live in Tooele.
Right? Like, yeah, you're like, I'm just down the road, man.
You want to sign the contract? No, I'm out.
No.
Maybe if I would have mentioned Alexia, maybe I would have gotten lucky.
Right.
Alexia. Good friends.
So James said, I got a load out of California going to Alabama. Good for you, brother.
Oh, that's a good load. Yeah.
I'm just saying. Oh, Lord. Oh, Tim asked, were you able to take advantage of the no payments until next year?
Nope. I was not. That's for company drivers making the conversion over to owner operator only right now. So here's the crap part of this, really. So I was planning on getting another truck next year anyway and starting my small fleet. Because of the repair issues I've had with the 16, I had to pull the trigger earlier. And Charlie, what do you bet there's going to be a promotion starting on January 1st?
Oh, absolutely.
Like that 6 weeks no payment thing. What do you want to bet? That's going to be the New Year's promotion.
Right.
3 weeks from now. But, you do what you got to do when you got to do it. So here we are. I'm hoping you guys pick up on that Charlie and I are dead serious when we say things like death before company driver.
Right.
The only thing, and Charlie and I have talked about this, the only thing that would take me back to being a company driver is if I had an opportunity, like say someone wanted to put me and a teammate in a straight truck running a FedEx Custom Critical for 6 months and then help me get a truck of my own and my own contract.
Right.
I do that.
Right.
To learn the business.
I've honestly been looking at a possibility like that. I'm just saying.
Old Kevin Rutherford. I can't really say old because he's our age, but you know what I mean. He once worked for a guy for free to learn over-dimensional step deck for 2 months, just to learn the business. He said, "I'll work for you for free if you teach me." People do that, man.
Right.
It sounds crazy, I know, but how much money do you make after the fact? That's
Right.
the thing. All those mistakes that you would have made if you didn't have a mentor.
Right. I mean,
You gotta think about that.
I was offered an opportunity through a Panther truck.
Mhm.
Something I've thought about. I thought about going after someone that I know that has a FedEx fleet doing custom critical straight trucks, the box trucks. Ooh, baby. Those $300,000 deals, those are massive. They're
With a
awesome though.
real kitchen in them.
Right? And a bathroom and a shower in the truck. What? I would not
Yeah.
want to have to clean that out. I'm just saying. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, Craig's the same way. Craig and I have talked about this. Craig says, "Can't see myself going company." And so Charlie and I are really come off heavy on that one, but you got to do what's good for you and yours. You know, I talked to someone recently about possibly going back company, and my whole thing was, do you want to be in business for yourself? And he really did. I said, okay, so if you go back company, what is your plan? How much money are you going to save a month so that you can get back into your own business? Well, let's come up with, okay, is it a year? Is it 6 months? Is it 2 years? How long is it going to take you to be back in business for yourself?
Right.
Sometimes you do have to take a step back, and that's okay, but never lose sight of that thing that you really want. Keep that in your sights at all times. I guess my service is audio. Okay. What else we got?
Hang on, I'm texting with Michelle right now.
Oh, okay. I'm looking through comments, doing my thing. Old man without his glasses on, because I'm vain. Tim the trucker says, let me get my mouse over there. I'm with you, Craig, being a company driver for a few different carriers over 10 years. I love the freedom feeling that this truck is mine. Yeah. There's absolutely that. And we haven't harped on it for a while, but when people call Charlie and I, our first question is always, why do you want to be an owner operator?
Right.
And there's a reason for that. If your reason is because I want my cats, okay, I guess that's a reason. But when times get tough, like they frankly are for me right now, what are you willing to do to stay in business? And can you stomach that? That's the thing. When things get tough, if that why is not solid, you're probably in a world of hurt.
Right. Michelle is going to get back to me. I may not get an answer today.
Okay, cool.
She said she.
Did you ask her for her phone number while you were doing that?
Oh crap!
Because if I do it, I look like an idiot because I've been talking to her all week. Yeah. So.
Hell, I had to just try and get Michelle on the show right now.
Yeah.
Michelle, get in here.
Yeah. Craig says Swift gives us a sense of freedom we don't get at most megas. And that's a thing, it's been pointed out to Charlie and I by people that we respect to stop apologizing for being Swift operators. Legitimate criticism.
Right.
But Craig, you're absolutely right. So people don't realize that we really do have a lot more freedom here. We've talked to people that are leased on with other mega carriers, and as contractors, they're force dispatched. As contractors, Charlie.
Right.
They don't have a choice on freight. We have a friend that so here's how extreme it does get sometimes. We have a friend of the show that wanted new tires for their truck. And her carrier said, no, we don't see anything wrong with your tires. And she's like, well,
Right?
I'm an owner operator. I'm paying for this. Well, we don't see a problem with your tires, so we're not replacing them.
That was Wanda.
Well, I didn't want to say that, but
Well, it's true.
yeah, okay. And
That's
and
CRF
and
too.
and you know what happened just down the road? She blew that tire that she was concerned about.
Catastrophically.
Right. Like contract ending catastrophically.
It was bullshit. Sorry.
So, how much control do you have over your business really? At Swift, I can tell you that the amount of control I have over my business is directly proportional to how much control I want of my business.
Right.
Right. You guys have talked to both me and Charlie's got a little bit more of a potty mouth than I do.
What?
But neither one of us are like dicks to people. We'll just put it out there. We're running a business.
Bill
And so we
Flarn-
do
Flarn
put
Bill.
we do put our foot down when it's necessary, and we do call people up when it's necessary, and we get results from that. I had a conversation on Facebook earlier, the way freight is right now, and people get stuck and this and that, and well, at least company drivers get layover pay. Well, that layover pay is $50 a day. I make a couple of phone calls and get moving, and I make more than that $50 a day.
Right.
And
a good chance that guy is going to sit there until that thing delivers.
Right. And so is it always freight that I would like go out on a load board and say, yeah, I want that? No, it's not, but it keeps me moving.
Right.
I just hauled a load that the Cat 1,900 pounds over the Rocky Mountains, but it got me where I wanted to be. It kept me moving. I'm not sitting in Denver still. In the before times when things were good, I would have said no to that load and said, come on, guys, you can do better than that.
Before.
But that's not the times we're in now.
Now it's like, what can I do for you today, please?
So one of the things that I'm keeping an eye on, Charlie, and I might be shooting myself in the foot if anybody in the division's actually listening to us today, and you and I talked about this, now that I have a payment again, and I owe Swift money again for the first time in 2.5 years, am I going to see an uptick in my mileage? I mean, that's a serious question that people ask, right?
Right.
Do the guys leasing trucks get priority over guys that are done with the leases and own their trucks? I've never been able to answer that question, but it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, Craig, you definitely get a trophy. I see you starred something there.
Yeah. So Bear Hunter's asking, just throwing it out to everybody, dedicated accounts with solo openings that would not have issues getting a driver back home to Cleveland, Tennessee, Annandale. Go. Anyone know accounts that would meet those needs? If so, throw them out there for Bear Hunter. Actually, it's for Rick, his buddy, that just is about to sign that brand new lease on that brand new order truck.
Nice.
Looks like Bush Beans is slowing down, so that might be a no-go. According to Tim the Trucker Saber, Bear Hunter, I can say the Bush Beans surge might be ending, but sent a message telling us this week is quite slow. Will it pick up again? I hope so. I hope so too. Yeah, and Craig threw a comment up there. He said, I worked hard to keep my truck moving this year. And he has. I mean, he's been busting his butt to keep moving.
Yeah, when things dry up in one market, he freaking starts making phone calls to find another account to run. That guy's
right
on fire. James Vaughn, that's where I picked up my beer.
James said, I just pulled a load of beer out of Golden going to Cali.
It was going to Redding, California, but IT called it in West Valley so I could get my stuff done.
Right.
And, so I already missed my freaking remodel, dude. That's one thing. So, I flew down there. So you can't take all, my pots, pans.
Right.
Freezer, all that stuff with me. So I've been eating out the whole week, and I just took my blood sugar before the show, and Charlie was like, dude, are you okay? And I'm like,
it was like 5,000.
No, I'm not. Because no amount of drugs is going to save you from Taco Bell. I'm just going to put that out there.
I got new drugs in the mail today. Does that count?
Are they the good stuff?
It's a muscle relaxer.
Oh, okay.
It's no fun. I got to take it when I go to bed. It's for my neck.
Ah.
Trying to help this headache thing I got going on. Something else they want to try. I don't know. I got an MRI on the 20th, so that'll be fun. That's for that.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. I should glow with all the imaging they've done on me this last year. Yeah, even Matt said, it's definitely been a challenge to keep him moving. But just glad I've overcome the odds from this past summer, right?
Mm-hmm. And for a lot of us, and we're branching beyond Swift more and more every day. But
right,
yeah, being in business is, to me anyway, and to a lot of folks, I think that's the point. I'm in a lurch right now. I had a truck that it got to the point to where I couldn't keep up with the maintenance on it and make my mortgage at the same time. So I made a decision, and now it's like, okay, next step. And once that's done, next step. That constant, what do I do now? What do I do next? And not having it be, what am I doing for the boss? Because I am the boss.
Right.
What am I doing for my business, for myself, my family? And there is a sense of satisfaction there for me. That's really what being in business is about.
Bear Hunter said, I'm glad I found Hobby Lobby opening when I did, or I probably would have just given up just keeping it real. OTR wasn't paying the bills. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's real. I mean, look, you guys know we give Bear Hunter just rations and rations of stuff because it's fun. But he can tell you he's got high overhead at the house by choice, But I mean, it's a thing. So, and then he stepped out and got this thing going, and now that's working for him. Had he been in that position today, it might have been a little different story.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to health stuff, Tim said, my cholesterol is rather high. I'm only 44, trying to make adjustments, but I love to eat. And steak and fried chicken is among my favorite foods.
Yeah, the steak probably isn't as big of a problem as most people think, but the fried chicken depends on what you use.
Right. Eating that keto style lifestyle, the cholesterol number isn't so bad because you make it big and fluffy. I can't remember what it's called, but you make the cholesterol so big and fluffy that it can't actually penetrate the cellular walls, so it doesn't affect you the way that the normal cholesterol does, because normal cholesterol is small, tight, compact, and penetrates cell walls, and that's what causes those issues and builds plaque up and all that kind of stuff. But when you're in a keto lifestyle, it tends to be big and fluffy and can't penetrate. I said penetrate so many times, and look how long it took before I finally stopped myself.
I'm trying.
Yes, Matthew.
I'm trying. And then we get a comment like that right away.
Right. Yes, Sean likes his toys. Yes.
And hey, that's his thing.
Right.
And yes, we will make fun of him, but it's really none of our affair.
Exactly. It's just fun. Look at that. What? I love me some keto. The yogurt is so good. Look, I went from 300 pounds.
Donna's giving me eyes. I don't know.
Hi, Donna.
She's got her eyes on us. Yeah, as a diabetic, the keto has done wonders for me. The number I came up with today was like 350, and that's a week of being off diet.
How you doing up there at Target? I'm just saying, that's my number one fan right there.
Oh, is that her?
She runs up and hugs me every time I see her. I haven't seen her in a few weeks because I've been, broken, but I miss you. She is a great hugger. She'll run up on you and just tackle you down here and break you. It's awesome. I dig it. See, Matt's like, I can't say nothing. I like my pew-pews. Exactly. I've done good not buying guns and ammo for a while. I'm just saying. James Bond said, hey, Jeff, if you found yourself hungry, stop at Sikh Temple and they will feed you for free. Just saying, hey, look, that's a thing.
Yeah, it is.
Brian said, Disha, I don't think waffles.
No,
at
but
Waffle House are keto, but
no,
whatever.
but they are good. They are so good though.
Oh Lord, bust it out. Why you gonna do that? That ain't right, Brian. Dang, man. Total House over there, Mike. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's across the street. It's hard not
The
to
first
eat.
time Charlie and I met, we ate at Waffle House like twice a day.
Yeah. It's so
I was like, "You're killing me, Charlie!" Like literally.
Oh my God. Oh, Brian.
That was when he educated me on how to use the rolling resistance calculator on the Michelin website.
Right? That was awesome.
Because I bought those XDN2s thinking I did a good thing, and I did not. So the final numbers are in on that, by the way, guys. I did run the Energy Ds on the truck for about a month, for about 2 weeks before I finally just gave up and parked it. And I did see about that 0.4 mile per gallon fuel increase right away, just from changing tires. So in the 2 years that I had those, just so you know, those
So
Michelin
So you're
Energy
comparing
Ds,
brand new tires to use XDMs at that.
right? So the new Energy Ds, I did not go with the D pluses. That's a whole other conversation that we can get into if you want. Cost me $4,040 through the Swift shop installed. So the amount of extra money I spent on fuels for the 2 years that I had those XDN2s would have bought 2 sets of those Energy Ds. Cash money. Let that sink in. That's a good chunk of change.
Just for clarification, the XDN2 or not the XDN, excuse me, the Energy D Plus is $185 more per tire as per my contact at Swift in the shop.
Yes.
Which brings you an additional $1,480 for a full set, which would have brought your 40/40 up to 55/20 for the set.
Right.
If they could
for a tire that when I was talking to the Michelin guy here in Salt Lake, because I talked to him personally because the tire guy at Swift was bored with me. So I actually talked to the man that sells the actual Michelin rep. And he said they have a small fleet that converted over to the D pluses last year where they first came out.
Right.
And they are seeing about a 15% decrease in lifespan on those tires. They do get better fuel mileage a little bit. He didn't have an exact number on that, but he said that for the price and the shorter wear time on them, you got to really wonder if that fuel mileage increase is paying for that.
If it's going to offset, yeah.
So what Charlie and I are looking at now, just so y'all know, the Bridgestone 713s have a slightly lower rolling resistance than the Energy D, and they cost less.
Right.
So now the question is, but do you have to replace them twice as often? We don't know.
Right. I've got them on my truck. We're at 185,000 miles. I have one that I abused on accident, but the rest are being very even, and we'll see how it works out. And they're not balanced or anything. They are straight as they are, just straight. No balance, no what you call it?
No beads.
No beads, and the other one, Centromatics. No Centromatics, nothing. These are straight out of the factory, untouched. I keep them aired at 115, between 110 and 115, and that's it. So we're gonna get some real data on that, hopefully. And other than that one tire that I popped and then was under pressure for too long, so I lost a bunch of tread off that damn tire. My mistake, totally. Just brain shut down on me, but that's okay. Things happen. You live and learn. Education got me paying attention to those tires again. I can tell you that.
So the conversation we were having on the Facebooks, I did point out, and I want to reiterate that every piece of equipment you have, whether it's your boots, your truck itself, the air filter, the tires, they all have a cost of ownership.
Right.
We get stuck on the cost of purchase.
Right.
I could get Yokohamas for $2,000. Okay. Well, how long do they last? What's your fuel mileage when you have those on there? What's the total cost to your business to use those tires, because it's not just the purchase price, right?
We're gonna
You got to
fight like
calculate.
18 wheels. He said double coin or nothing. I'll fight you, bro. I'll fight you.
Yeah. So this kind of came in play with Donna and I years ago, because you know, when you're younger and you got kids to feed and all this stuff, the difference between buying dishwashers
Worshers.
at Habitat for Humanity for $50 versus spending $600 for a brand new LG at Home Depot. When we did the cost analysis, because we were replacing dishwashers about 3 a year.
Washer. Good God.
You frickin' Southern. You need to learn to speak Southern better. It's Worcester.
Oh my God.
It's Washington and it's Worcester.
Right.
Anyway, so
Broken.
you know, I went through the cost of ownership, and we ended up with a new LG the next time we needed a dishwasher, because this lasts longer, you know. Nicholas Earl deleted his Facebook. Would like your email. Why'd you delete Facebook?
Do you have my phone number? You don't have my phone number, do you? I thought. Wait, I think I have you on my phone. I'm gonna have to look. This is great video right here.
Yeah. So Matt Nissen does have some data on the 713s. He got his put on.
I don't have them.
All original in August of 22. So that's a year and almost 6 months. Last inspection, they're all at around 1630 seconds. So that's not bad.
Yeah.
You know, the way I drive and the way I have my fifth wheel set and all that stuff I do for fuel mileage, I typically get 325 to 350,000 miles out of a set of drives. You know, my previous lease trucks, Charlie, I had done, before I turned them in, they got one tire swap the whole time I had them. And when I turned the truck in, I did not get charged for tires. So there you go. That's one of the things we look at. Like, yeah, we talk about fuel mileage, slowing down to save fuel. The other thing it does, it decreases wear on your tires.
Right.
Where's your fifth wheel plate? If you got it all the way back where all that freaking weight is on the back, guess what? That back set of drives is getting more wear. You know, all those things. This is, you know, the running your business part of what we talk about. Take a look and evaluate how you're doing what you're doing, where you're spending your money, and what the true value of your purchases are to your business.
Right. Craig said his Bridgestones are at 1932nd front axle, 1832nd rear axle, 111,000 miles, 2432nd brand new.
Nice. So I'll say this about the XDN2s. So after running them for 300 and about 30,000 miles, they had enough tread left on them that my casing credit was $100 a tire.
Right.
The guy even told me, he's like, man, we're just going to put these on a trailer or something. We're not even going to have them retreaded yet. But, you know, experiment done. I took my loss and I was just tired of it. So I swapped tires.
Right. Hey, Disha, I can tell you from my personal experience on my Freightliner, can't tell you what hole it's in, but I have it set as far forward as I possibly can get it to set without hitting a reefer trailer on anything on the back of the tractor.
Right.
And I don't move it when I go OTR and pull vans.
No, what I did was I got one of those super heavy paper loads off the coast of Oregon.
Right.
Set my fifth wheel to scale legal with that load and left it there.
Right.
And that was one hole on the Freightliner, you know, it's double holes, you know, it's a 2-pin thing. And it was the second one back. So almost all the way forward on mine. And the truck, when I picked it up, was already set that way, and I'm going to leave it that way unless I have to move it, because I know that gets good results for me. I might go all the way forward, because on this beer load, I was still under 12,000 pounds. I think it was 11.5, even close to gross. So I could probably go all the way forward.
Right. Brian just said his last set of Bridgestone 713s went 302,000 miles and still had about 4/16 on them. Could have rode them out for a few more months, but he was in Memphis and they had a new set, so he jumped on them. There you go.
Well, and another thing about the Bridgestones versus the Michelins. So it's looking like they might be a tire of choice for us, which hurts Charlie and I, because we've been Michelin guys for 15 years.
Right.
But numbers don't lie, you know us. And if that's the case, the other nice thing is it's also Swiss tire of choice.
Right.
So like if you want Michelin's, you have to go to the tire shop manager and say, I want Michelin's, and put your foot down. And they'll say, okay, well, it'll be tomorrow before we can get them. Okay, order them.
Right.
713s are sitting right there. Bada boom, bada bang, you're out.
See, Craig's got good data on this stuff because he reads more than I do. The M713 tire is engineered to provide an 8% improvement on rolling resistance while increasing tread life by 15% over the M710. And the 710 wasn't a bad tire. It was slightly lower or higher rolling resistance than the Energy D.
Right.
And they look, Michelin and Bridgestone, they are fighting. It is a battle for them. And here's the funny thing is I don't think the improvement one over the other is a game changer.
No.
I just don't, when it comes down to the dollars and cents and that cost of ownership, ROI, everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm a Michelin guy, I can tell you that I would probably lean towards the Michelin Energy D. I really want the D pluses, but from what I'm hearing, it may not be the right move. So
when the D pluses first came out, they only got released in January of this year. Mike Beckett was on Rutherford's program talking about how they're reaching this point now where, okay, you could get more rolling resistance, but your tires are going to last about 20 minutes.
Right.
Because the compound's just not.
You start getting that diminishing returns thing going on.
Right. And so he thought almost a year ago that they're probably right at that point to where, look, unless something major happens in chemistry,
we're
probably got the best we're going to get at this point. So,
outside and look at my truck for you real quick, because you're in a Freightliner, aren't you? I think you are. If you're in a Freightliner, I will run out and look at my truck and tell you where it's sitting at. Sorry. Back to tires. Sorry, Jeff.
I would probably, if you're in a Freightliner, 4th and 5th hole, I would push it up.
You want that gap as closed as you can get without damaging things.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, Charlie, because there's a couple of factors that we're looking at here.
Right.
We're looking at even distribution of weight across the entire system and the gap between the back of the cab and the trailer. I cannot remember for the life of me what the actual effect of that is, but for every inch, it sucks so many tenths of a mile per gallon out of your tank.
Right, because that burble, that's the technical term, by the way. A burble forms behind the cab because of that gap, and it creates an area of high or low pressure. I can't remember which. I believe it's a low pressure behind. It creates low pressure there, and it creates almost like a parachute behind the and it just causes more drag. I'm gonna go look. I'll be right back. Jeff's all
Go run.
Wrong button.
I
hit the wrong damn button.
You know what? You're in timeout. So one of the things, and I did not spend the money for these devices, but one of the ways to deal with that burble is to get air tabs put on your truck. Air tabs, I think they'll cost you $300 or $400 for the set. They're fairly easy to stick on yourself if you have an eye for detail, and you've probably seen them on trucks. They're a V-shaped thing like that. The V points towards the front of the truck, and they're along the side of the fairing. and that was actually invented by a NASA engineer to deal with this specific problem. And what it does is it forces the air to go around that gap instead of collapsing into that gap and hit the trailer instead of the back of your truck. I've never used them. I will say that that's mostly because of laziness on my part. I do a lot of things already, and I'm fairly happy. But if that's something that you want to experiment with, I would definitely try the air tabs. Like I said, they come with like the 3M sticky on the back. And as long as you're fairly good at attention to detail, because they do have to be aligned straight along the side of the fairing in order to work properly, that will help with that aerodynamic problem. It's the same concept as you see the tails on the trucks, the different styles of tails. You're just cleaning up the aerodynamics, because that's one of the biggest things. The reason why slowing down works oh, he's a VA patient on the prowl now. He's on his phone now. So you clean up the aerodynamics of the truck, because that's the number one thing that you can affect. Is the aerodynamics. That's why slowing down works, to get better fuel mileage, because you got less drag. And I would have to get like someone like my son that's a mathematician on here to explain it properly, but the drag coefficient changes with the speed of the truck. It's why I literally, and I know people hate me for this, but if you have a cattle guard on the front of your truck, I will make fun of you. If you have one of those aftermarket sunshades on your truck, I will have some words for you, because I happen to know that each of those items will suck no less than 0.3 of a mile per gallon out of your tank, just because it messes up the aerodynamics of the truck. I actually kind of had it out with Michelle over this, because she just sold a flatbed guy a really nice truck. Don't get me wrong, truck's beautiful, but it's got dual stacks on the outside. It's got a cattle guard, and it's got one of those things on the top, the light, the sun guard. And me, I'm all about the bottom line, flatbed or no. This is a flatbed truck, and it can be argued that flatbed aerodynamics suck anyway versus van, and that is true. So why do you want to make it worse, is my point. Beautiful truck, dude's probably going to make good money, but I think he could do a little bit better if he got that extra stuff that's messing his aerodynamics off the truck. What do you got, Charlie?
Hey, so there you go. Here's the answer. My fifth wheel is all the way up, slammed forward.
Okay. And you can still turn with the reefer just fine?
Yep.
Of course, you don't have a big aftermarket toolbox back there either.
Nope. I got it. I do have a spare tire carrier.
Yeah. Okay.
So there you go. But yeah, so look, just in case you didn't see, it's all the way up. Can't go any further. Sits the front of the plate is just behind center of the front axle. In fact, there's the shock for the front axle, so it gives you a point of reference. So there you go. All right, I'm going back inside.
Don't you dare say it's cold, man.
It's not. Well, it's chilly. It's not cold.
But
it ain't chilly.
There you go. So there's the proof, everybody.
Cold,
Charlie does actually drive a truck. He just showed you. So no more of that.
Deisha knows. She's seen me work.
Yeah. And there's his house. I've never seen his house before.
Yeah, my mess. Oh, all right. I'm back.
Hey, brother's got to live, right?
Oh my God! I almost ended the stream.
Oh, hold on. I want to do a thing. Oh, there we go. Charlie, look at your screen and then pan your phone around. This is good. This is good stuff. We get to see Charlie's house.
Oh my God. Something's happening.
What?
What? Hello.
Oh, that's terrible. We're gonna deal with that.
I gotta kick my other one out. How do I? Oh Jesus!
You want it out? You want it completely gone?
Yeah, I'm gonna boot him. I don't know how to boot it. Make it boot it.
I can mute Mike. There you go.
Wait.
You're out. He's doing a thing now. He's
Oh my
switching.
god, that was so confusing there at the end. I didn't know what to do.
You know that the AI that we started using is going to find that as a short.
Oh my god, that'll be terrible. So yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but the YouTube channel's starting to come up with more short videos recently.
And thank you guys. We did a thing this week, and we meant to bring this up earlier. We hit that first big milestone. Well, the first milestone was like 100 people, 500. We hit 1,000 this week. We exceeded that 1,000 subscriber limit. So thank you guys for helping us out and doing this thing with us.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like professional YouTubers, with their tens of millions of subscribers or anything. But
we still love our tens of tens.
We serve a much smaller niche. We're not here to do anything other than talk trucking and help you guys do better. So if we can, with our little small following, we're pretty happy.
Indeed, Bear Hunter. It's good that you're lucky I have pants on at all.
Pajama bottoms anyway.
Yeah, look. Hey, man. It's one of those days.
Somehow I always picture you with the Hot Lips style pants. With the
I wear shorts. What? Jim Wall said he's on the second and third hole, so there you go. Yeah, mine's slammed all the way forward. I mean, that's just where it is on mine, and it works fine. I haven't been tagged for overweight stuff, but that's doing target and OTR drive-in.
Yeah. Oh, I could tell you one thing that sucked on the way home, Charlie, is that it did not occur to me to take the pre-pass off my old truck and bring it with me.
Right.
So I went all the way from Lancaster, Texas to West Valley City without a pre-pass. So that was every single open way station had to go into. That was fun.
It's good for you. It builds character.
Yeah. Well, I only got pulled in once. That was in Wyoming, and they do that permit thing.
Right. That's just a thing.
So that, and lucky, not lucky, but it's a good thing that I actually pay attention to that. Went through the permit book, because all the permits that were in the book in the truck had the old truck number on it. So I had to go through and take the permits that they gave me in the little folio and put that in the permit book. Those of you guys that don't know, by the way, so every time a truck changes ownership, the truck number changes.
Right.
So if you get a used truck like I did, unless you know what that old truck number is, you cannot get a maintenance history on it.
So get this. When I got this 23 Freightliner, they had just put a Swift company number on it. Then they reserved it for me, and they put another number on it. And then when they did my contract, they're like, "Oh, we've got to put a new number on it." That truck had 3 numbers on it and only had 28 miles on it.
I asked Brett if I could have Chewy's truck number for my 16, and he said no.
That's dirty, man. I think he should have gave it to you.
I think it would have been great.
That's a good one too. 501153. I'm just saying.
It took me 3 days to memorize the new truck number. So I feel good about that.
My first lease truck number, 971100. That was a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. Easy to remember.
Right? Yeah. So if you can ever find, like, if you're in a used truck, if you can ever find out, like, dig through it and find the old truck numbers and stuff, that's how you go about trying to get that maintenance history on them. Just a little. I'm just saying, if you can find someone to pull up because they won't even cross-reference it from what the current number is to the past truck number. They will not do that. They're not. Mm-hmm. And, like, you could ask the guys in the shop, "Hey, what was the old truck number?" They're like, "I don't know."
Yep. And on some things too, again, with the IEL trucks. So if anything's not right with the truck, and I'll mention mattresses, because I went in to get my mattresses because it didn't have any in the truck. And I said, so I need both mattresses, top and lower bunk. And they actually asked me, Charlie, well, are you a team? Are you a member?
Right?
And I said, no. Well, we can only give you the bottom one then. I said, No, I'm paying for 2 mattresses.
Right?
And what if I put a team in the truck?
Exactly.
Okay. But
Because if
I
you
was
came back later and meant like, oh, I'm adding a team, I need a match. They're like, great, that's $1,000 billion.
Yeah.
Because you're a
So,
contractor.
so yeah.
It's a thing.
There's a weird thing too. So on the hood, the handle to open the hood, it's missing the plastic piece inside. Completely gone.
They don't come like that. I don't think mine has one.
Oh, because they're replacing it right now.
Really? I don't think
Yeah.
mine ever had one.
Holes are drilled for it.
I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb. You know what's funny? I don't open it by that handle. I open it from the side.
So do I. But still, I'm paying
I get it.
$126,000 for a truck. I want everything on it.
Look, I'm still pissed I didn't get tow hooks.
And because I need that plastic piece, Charlie, because without that, my bungee cords will
I was
stretch.
going to say, nowhere to put the bungees, right?
So semi-famous story. Charlie did not notice that his truck didn't have tow hooks for 3 months.
True.
But I found something out talking to the shop manager, not one of his lackeys, but the actual shop manager in Lancaster, who, by the way, I asked if he would be willing to do an interview with me on video, and the man went pale white, like terrified of being on camera, so we just didn't do that. But anyway, so what he said is that the new trucks have not come with tow hooks for several years.
That's crazy to me.
And he's like, if you want to buy some, there's a place for them, but they're not ordering them with tow hooks.
Life on 18 Wheels said it exactly. Tow hooks are essential. I've never needed to use them, but now that I don't have them,
well, I did that once when I had to get pulled out of the ditch. I have tow hooks on the other truck. So
I'm still angry about it. I might be salty.
Well, you should visit theunsaltedtrucker.com and then we can fix that for you.
Oh, nice plug, sir.
Yeah, it's not
up
yet.
Oh, what the hell, man?
That's my alter ego for those of you that don't know. So Charlie and I do this, but one of the projects I'm working on is I've always been fascinated by like the 7 habits of highly effective people and all that sort of stuff. But that stuff is not really marketed very well to us lowly manual labor type blue collar workers. And I have a project trying to change that may be coming in the next year or so.
Right.
Shameless plug for a side project. Matt says his didn't come with tow hooks, but it was a company truck to start with. Yeah. Mine was too.
They were asking for Michelle's number. Oh, it was Nick, and I think he split.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna put it up anyhow. She texted me back.
And you're gonna make a banner between now and next week for that.
You would think so. And let me do some typing.
So yeah, if you guys have any other questions about business, life on the road, whatever, put them up there. Again, the big news of the week is that after 2.5 years of actually owning my truck outright, I have leased a 22 Freightliner. For those of you that may be late to the show, and earlier on the show, I explained why and how that process went and what my plans for the future are. We do have, so it's interesting, Charlie. So, when you're trolling the Facebooks, and I don't comment all that often unless something like if I know the answer to something, I'll give an answer, or if something just really rubs me to the wrong way, I'll say something. But
right.
There's this weird thing where people try to convince people, well, I was one of those lease operators. I ended up turning my truck in. Okay, well, why? Why did you do that? What made you do that? And my second part of that is when people come into, say, like a Swift Drivers Group or one of the other carriers that I follow, and try to convince people with that type of argument, I really like people to do something. Don't listen to that guy. And I'm going to be harsh here because he failed. He did not run his business properly. Now, I'm not saying you need to listen to Charlie and I per se, but seek people out that are successful. Okay, we got Alan Becker out there that just bought his 5th truck for his fleet. How is that if people are losing their trucks? Why is he doing so much better? I think that's a good question to ask Alan, don't you?
Yep.
That's part of what I called him about. Is like, okay, tell me how you're being successful with the fleet because I want to grow a fleet. And we talked for about an hour. Alan's a funny guy. He will never return a text or a phone call until. So I mentioned money. I mentioned money. I'm like, Alan, how much are you paying your drivers? And he's calling me in like 2 seconds.
Johnny on the spot.
You want to talk about money? Alan's on the. Alan's right there, man. But yeah, I mean, there's these people, and I want to take my business to the next level and grow a fleet. I know a guy that's done that, so I'm going to ask that guy.
Exactly. You got to take charge of your business.
Right. I'm not going to ask the guy that just turned in his truck after 2 weeks. Right? How to run a business. Now, there's a lot of legitimate reasons for turning your truck in. I don't want you guys to think that we're totally down on people that end up going that route. But dang it, if you want to be successful, surround yourself with successful people. There's a lot of naysayers out there that'll tell you, oh, that's you can't make any money as an owner operator. Okay, well, that guy that I met a year ago that you've never heard of because he doesn't bother with Facebook because he's so damn busy running freight.
Right.
Legitimately pulling in $150,000 a year net profit. That's the guy I want to talk to. Mm-hmm. I don't want to talk to you that says that it's impossible. Because it doesn't really even matter what the economy is. There's always a certain sector of the population that consistently just makes money. Those are the people to talk to. What do they do different than I do? I'm interested in that. That's how we found all of these people that we bring to you guys.
Right.
We ask them, hey, so you're doing this thing. Tell us about that. And then we find out about this crazy thing about not using ComData anymore for fuel. And then we start asking, oh, so how do you guys how do you guys do your insurance? Because Swiss messing with us on that.
Right.
Oh, we got a guy. Talk to him.
Right.
And then we talked to Tony about things. He's like, well, I had this lady that does this thing, and I think it would benefit you guys. Okay. It's that constant. I guess you could say, Charlie, stay curious. Always be asking questions.
Right.
Always be willing to learn something.
Try to learn every day.
Otherwise, to me, freaking life is boring without learning something. And I don't care if it's and I don't care if it's listening to the latest survivalist novel that just came out last week.
Just came out on the 21st.
And learning about how to run solar on a trailer in the middle of nowhere, even though it's fiction.
Training.
Learn something, man.
Right. Mike Henderson said, I've had so many drivers over the years tell me I'm an idiot for working as a lease op at Swift. There you go. Look, I love those guys. I'm like, okay, let's talk about it. And when we start running numbers, they're like, oh, hey, you got a number I could call? I love that. Yeah. That's like my favorite ending to one of those conversations. You're an idiot. Hey, you got someone I can call?
Yeah.
That's like the best progression of that conversation ever, every time.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Craig said, in this year alone, I went from Northeast Regional to Reefer, and now he's surged on the
bush beans
while constantly evaluating moves elsewhere like Forward Air. Legit, straight up right there.
Forward Air is an interesting one. Craig and I have been talking about that. They have an actual hiring freeze down in your area, Charlie.
Yeah.
We were talking about that on the Facebooks too recently. It's getting bad when carriers start having a hiring freeze. Well, the media is telling people that there's a driver shortage again.
Right.
Freaking drives me nuts.
So Tim said, I've been too scared to start a fleet. So much risk on how some random person will treat your truck. That's a legitimate thing, or heaven forbid, abandon it thousands of miles away. Exactly.
So Tim, I will tell you that when I first started my trucking career, so before this, for a lot of you know this, probably most of you don't. I used to actually be one of those white collar climb the ladder guys. Okay. Until I got laid off from a fairly lucrative job on the phone company, and I was just like, whatever. So I looked for something that was kind of recession proof, which brought me to trucking. And I already had some experience with business. So my plan all along was this: I'm going to go to truck driving school. I am going to mentor, and I am going to buy trucks.
Right.
And be an owner operator. And originally, I don't know if I told you this, Charlie, but originally my plan was a 10 truck fleet.
Right.
17 years ago, I was convinced that I wanted a 10 truck fleet. And then I would just run the fleet and be at home with my lovely wife and my children, who now hate me because I'm never home, and all that. But the risk is what stopped me. I had my risk tolerance was not what I thought it was. I'll just put it that way.
Right. Hi, John.
Well, now I'm older, I'm more experienced, I'm looking at things a little different. I've got some health issues. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to get a medical card, to be honest. I've got to look at, okay, I like driving quite a bit, not as much as Charlie does. Charlie's a freaking fanatic, but I like what I do quite a bit. But what if I can't do it anymore? How am I going to pay the bills?
Right.
Well, a small fleet can do that. Yes, there's risk, but I've talked to enough people by now to where I'm more comfortable with that risk. Charlie, am I comfortable? Not even close. But I'm just, it's something to consider. I would say, Tim, stay curious, ask a lot of people questions that have small fleets, and not just at Swift. I'm just going to put that out there.
Right.
There are other carriers that may or may not have good deals for small fleet owners that we
Right.
may or may not be bringing up in the future. Anyway, always be looking at it. My father taught me at a very young age, always be looking at your next move. Always.
Right.
You may not make it, but always be looking.
Should always be evaluating.
In my life right now, I'm ready to start that small fleet. I'm ready to put butts in seats, and we'll just see how it goes, man. It's scary as hell. I'm not going to lie. It is, but it is the next level.
Right.
So that's I know I'm soapboxing a little bit, but
so the last
I just want you to know, Tim, that I understand the risk thing.
Absolutely. The last time I ran math on running a small fleet, I came up with a number of trucks that I needed to replace my personal income on just a single truck operation. And that was paying a fair market wage and all that sort of thing. And it was 5 trucks. Mm-hmm. And that was the direct, even, straight across. And that was provided nothing really bad happened.
Right.
Right.
And you got up to how much?
I had 3.
You got up to how many? 3?
Yeah. And it just pissed me off. So I was out.
Now,
I'll revisit it.
The other thing, Tim, is if you happen to, I don't know, have someone like Colton Lawrence at Trucker CFO that you are paying him to advise you, he will go over those numbers with you. My number is actually comfortably, the number is 7 trucks. And he went over with me why that is. And I'll just tell you, if you want 5 trucks, get 7, because at any given time, one of them is going to be sitting there doing nothing. And you need to be able to bridge that gap while you find a new driver.
Right. Even 5 was if nothing went wrong at any point in time.
I mean, even Alan right now, he's got one truck without a driver. Thank goodness it's the one he owns outright.
Right. It's the paid for truck.
It's the paid for truck that's without a driver right now. So it's not too bad. But you gotta work that into your plan. So if 5 trucks replaces my income, have 7 trucks so that I have some wiggle room there. And that's how you work it.
Life on 18 Wheels said he's been trying to find out how to pull those elusive Conestoga Swift trailers. They're out there. There's not many. There's some.
There's not many. Yeah, I've seen them every once in a while.
And Tim, this is a legitimate fear. He said, I think another fear is if freight is bad, I've still got to pay the person on top of truck payment and supporting myself. Well, there's a way around that, which you may or may
Percentage.
not. Yeah, you pay percentage. And there's nothing wrong with that. I can tell you that,
Yeah.
when I had my guys running trucks, I paid out about 80% total of the truck in wages.
Mm-hmm.
And which is why I needed so many trucks to replace my own truck, right? Because I'm making, pennies on the dollar on the back end, but I'm not having to run those trucks, and they were paying for themselves. So as long as they kept paying for themselves, we're gold, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, paying percentage, paying a mileage rate, I can tell you will bankrupt you.
Yeah.
Or paying a weekly salary. Alan can tell you all about that one. Boy, did that one bite him in the backside, something fierce. Had a guy come out and drove for him, paid him a salary, and the guy was a hard runner. I mean, just cranking out miles on the Swift side as a company driver. Came out, got a weekly salary, didn't run jack.
And had other issues.
Yeah, we won't get into those. Oh man, let's see, Mike Henderson. I can tell you how you fail at being a fleet op. Back in 2009, I had 4 trucks. I never lost money, but I never made much money. The drivers drove me crazy. Right.
I think that's why you killed yours, was the drivers were driving you crazy.
They were. I want more money and I want to work less. Bro, I don't know. Save more money on the truck, get better fuel mileage. And they were actually really good at that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there just wasn't any more to squeeze out of the turnip,
Mm-hmm.
So, ultimately, one of them guys took one of the trucks that they were in. I'm like, look, you want the truck? Take the truck. I will walk away from it free and clear. You get the escrow money that's already in it. He actually finished that lease and started a new lease when that one terminated. So,
yeah.
See, Mike said he made the mistake of paying mileage.
Yep.
People learn that one the hard way. And Tim went back to, but if you're not getting freight, your drivers might quit on you. Could be hard to replace them because those payments are still going to come out. It's all
so again, I'm not ready to give out a name yet, but we have a solution for that. That is out there.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
We've got to have some discussions.
We got to have some discussions with some people and hopefully build a relationship and be able to show you guys a different way of building a small fleet.
Yep.
But the thing at Swift is, like, I could tell you how Alan gets his drivers. He hits the Facebooks, and all these guys say, "Hey, I'm wondering about being an owner operator." He's like, "PM me."
Yep.
He literally took my idea and ran with it, and he's doing well. And so he took some of the risk out of my idea. Hint, hint. If you have a guinea pig like that, someone that has a better tolerance for risk than you do, you're like, "Oh, dude, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, why don't you try that?" And we'll talk about it. And we'll see how it works. And I have no problems with that. That does not damage my relationships with people like Alan at all.
Right.
He's profited from several of our ideas, and
he's also lost his tuchus.
Yeah, but he's willing to give it a shot.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, he has actually called me a wussy before for not doing it myself. It's like, man, it might not work, but man, what if it does, man? You're an idiot.
Look, we talked to him today, and he's like, "Yeah, I love being your guinea pig." There's a little sarcasm in his voice. He's like, "I'm glad I could be there for you." I'm like, "We are too."
Well, and we're watching him with great interest because he has his own authority too.
Right.
And he's going to start running Swift Logistics freight next year once he figures out the insurance thing, which is turning out to be an interesting discussion. So that's one thing too that maybe not time today because it's a long conversation, Charlie, but
right.
The whole insurance thing, when you have your own authority, a lot of people that this whole don't haul under $2 a mile. Well, you know why they say that? Because their overhead is so much higher than yours is being leased to a mega carrier.
Right.
We don't pay general liability. We don't pay cargo insurance. That stuff's expensive, guys. So in order for you to make out there what you're making in here, you've got to be getting those $2, $2.40, $2.50 van rates to make what we're making.
Right.
And people don't realize that. They think we're the fools. And I'm like, well, I see potential to make more money out there on my own. Absolutely. Getting your own contracts, negotiating your own rates. Absolutely, there's a potential there.
Right.
But do you have the skill for that, or are you willing to build the skills necessary?
Right.
Are you willing to pony up that initial $20,000 for the first year of insurance? Right.
It's a tough bit.
Yeah. So, it's one of those things: risk versus reward. Risk versus reward. That's a big thing in business. You got to look at that. And if you're happy where you're at, and you're good at what you do, and you're making money, and your risk tolerance is on the low side like mine is, that's how you end up 17 years of Swift. I'm happy with the money I make. I'm starting to look at other options, not because I want to make more money per se, but I'm 50 years old with diabetes.
Right.
So I'm kind of more worried about what if I can't get a card next year. That's what I'm worried about.
Right.
And right now, that risk trumps my risk on the business side, if that makes sense.
So Life on 18 Wheels, I like the way you put this. Whenever someone asks me about leasing and if it's a good idea, I always give them the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't tell them what to do. I give them the reason I do it, and tell them they have to decide for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all you can do is provide real hard data, give them numbers, explain your why, find out their why, and then guide them down that path. That's what Jeff and I do.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And Jim Wall asked a question for everybody. Anybody have one of those cell phone boosters? Do they work? I don't have one.
I don't have one.
I've looked at them.
The last time I looked at them was at a truck stop, and I know truck stops, but it was like $400 for one, and I was like, I don't know about that. I get, every week I do the show with Charlie unless I'm actually having to run, and 3 weeks out of 4, I'm in the truck on my Verizon hotspot with no signal booster.
Right.
And the only places I had problems, interestingly enough, the worst place, guys, is the Iowa 80 truck stop for me to do the show. Every time we have problems there, Charlie.
Right.
And, it's just because, there's 800 guys on frickin' Wi-Fi there.
You can always tell when a truck drives in front of them, too.
Yeah, especially a reefer.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially if you're talking about for the bandwidth for your internet, I just haven't felt the need for one. I could tell you that I put my hotspot in the old truck anyway. I'll have to figure out where to put it in the new truck. But in my remodel, I had a spot kind of by the side window. So it actually had clear line of sight to anything. And that did help.
Someone asked earlier, Jeff, and I forgot to put it up. Are you going to try and remodel this truck like you did your old truck?
No, not this one.
The answer.
Because my intention is to put someone in it. So this is not.
And you wouldn't be able to do it until you paid the truck off.
I might roll the dice on that, to be honest with you. After having that lifestyle for a year,
right?
I might roll the dice on that. If it was a truck that I was going to drive myself for the long term. So at Swift, just so people know, at Swift you can only lease a truck every 6 months. So while I'm fixing the other one, my plan is basically to have a new truck every 6 months for myself while I have someone else in another truck.
Right.
And then I did already talk to Charlie, by the way, because I was concerned about the age of the old one, if I could bring it back in.
Right.
And not Michelle. Yeah, it was Michelle.
Oh.
Michelle said that should not be a problem. She could get it in. So
yeah. Well, right now they're telling people 2015 or newer. So
she said 2014 during the live thing last week.
No, it was 2015 in the live.
I know that she's recently signed trucks that were older than that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I mean, I think it, well, that's because you're Mr. Swift's sidekick. Maybe, but you know what? I'll take that.
Right.
Because that's a direct result of the relationship I have with these people. It was a Swift truck from the beginning. They know that it just needs to get fixed and then it'll be roadworthy again. and they'll bring it back into the fleet.
Tim the Trucker Saver and said, I tell anyone interested in leasing that if you are marrying that truck, those payments will come out regardless of whether you work or not. You go on vacation, those payments are still due. And
Yep.
Craig's like, yep, right, Tim. And we all agree. And that's where a lot of people forget. They're like, oh, I can go home and take all the time off I want. And they seem to forget that they still got a truck payment every week.
Well, and Charlie, you and I discussed this. That is a source of pain for me.
Right.
Because for the last almost 2 years,
yeah,
I would get home and I'm like, well, I still have about enough money in the bank for next month's bills.
Right.
And I don't owe Swift any money. Yeah, I could take another week off.
Right.
Well, now I've got to go, okay, what's in my maintenance account? Can I float that lease payment or not? But there's one thing I did differently this time, Charlie, and you'll be proud of me because it's something you do. I bumped my maintenance account up to 20 cents a mile on this truck.
Nice.
And that was after talking to you and Alan. Alan has all 5 of his trucks at 20 cents and then pays his driver a percentage of the net due owner after everything's said and done. And apparently, and I'll be honest, I'm skeptical on how this is going to work, but he's like, yeah, drivers are happy. I'm like, okay, you say so. Well, it's the unknown factor.
You know what's neat about that though, and I had this with my drivers because that's the way I ran my other trucks. And they'd start out and they drove kind of like noobs, right? Drove as fast as the truck would go, didn't care where they bought fuel, all these things, right? And as I worked with them, and they're like, I need to make more money. I'm like, okay, why don't you try this? Try slowing down a little bit. Why don't you start shopping for fuel? Why don't you start monitoring the pressures in your tires better? Because that's an expense to the truck. All these things that are making the truck more profitable means they're more profitable because they're making percentage of the net on the truck.
Yeah.
You want a raise? Learn something, do something.
Yeah.
You don't get a raise by just saying, I want a raise.
Right.
That's not the way the world is supposed to work. I know that's how it works at some places. That's not how the world is supposed to work. If you want to be paid more, you should provide more value and then seek that added pay. You don't say, hey, look, I need a raise. And they're like, well, why am I going to pay you more to do the same job? And you're like, well, because I'm really good at what I do. I'm like, right? I don't know, man. Dime a dozen, right? I want the guy that's going to step up and go above and beyond. And that's the guy I'm paying more. I don't know, man. Different generations here. And God, we sound like old people again, but
we are. At this point, I've given up. I'm an old guy, man. Come on.
But I mean, it's like a legit thing. I mean, people are just demanding that I make $15 an hour at McDonald's, and you could walk at McDonald's. That happy individual behind the counter. Wow, did you see it? The brakes went on there. So that individual behind the counter, who 9 times out of 10 doesn't put the right products in the damn bag.
Right.
Okay. Yet I walked in, turned to the left instead of turning to the right to look at the counter, and pushed buttons on a screen for myself. Right. And hit order and paid for it and everything right there. All I got to do is stand back and wait for my number to come up on the screen. Hell, they didn't even call your number. They just put the damn thing down with a sticker on it. And they're like, there's 320. You go find it. And then I open it up and it's got a small fry. It's a large fry.
It's a Happy Meal instead of a number 2.
Right. But they demand $15 an hour, a living wage. I'm sorry. McDonald's is not a career choice.
Nope.
I'm better.
Right. That's right, Tim. So we're talking about when you're the model that I'm working on is the same as I've seen other people use. He says, so percentage not off what the load pays, but what the truck brings after expenses. That makes sense, whether or not you can find someone who is willing to. So, again, talking to these guys that do this, their drivers are happy.
Right.
And I think Alan pays a lower percentage than what I was looking at doing.
Right.
But he has no problem keeping butts and seats.
Right.
So,
and if need be, he's got room to bump up. And as he gets more trucks, that would actually make more sense for him because he could reduce the margin on more trucks and make the same and or more money overall.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, that's a legitimate thing. And yes, you can find people who are willing to do that. And it creates hustlers out of your drivers.
Mm-hmm.
When they understand that they can make more by doing more smarter,
Mm-hmm.
those people are gold. And a lot of those guys, honestly, they don't ever want to own their own truck. They'll work for you forever doing that.
Yeah. And honestly, the guys I'm looking for when I'm looking for a driver for this truck, I'm looking for that guy that wants to own their own truck.
Right.
And I want them to drive for me for about a year. And at the end of that year, I will help him with the down payment towards a truck and send him on his way and find the next guy that wants to do that.
Right.
That's the business model I'm looking at. So, what I'm doing, there's more value than just the pay. There's the education as well. And I think, as I go through this journey again, I'm going to catalog everything I'm doing and put it out there. And my hope is that it could be duplicated by more people, that you guys could do the same thing. Because if you could provide value beyond the pay to these guys that always dreamed of owning their own truck or their own business or whatever, but they don't have a clue, and you give them that education, you both profit. You can both profit immensely, I think.
Yeah,
and that's the whole thing. Charlie and I have spent the last 2 years learning about how to do what we're doing right here, right now.
Right.
And that's the thing, you guys know that we don't really make any money off of this stuff because that's not what we're really about. Yes, we would like to make a profit eventually, but what we're trying to do really is create this community where people make more money as a group and do better and have better lives.
Here's the funny part
about
about
profit.
Jeff and I love to teach this stuff. We love to help people do better.
Right.
Problem is, it costs us money and time. In fact, it costs us great deals of money and lots of time. And that time is money lost by itself. So that we're limited on what we can do on the channel or on the private community or on the Facebooks, right? So we're looking at streams of revenue that will help offset that, which will allow us to do more of this right here.
Yeah.
It'd be great to be able to do a show every day, every other day.
Yeah.
Not realistic right now, but if we can get to a point where we have enough revenue coming in on Contractors Corner Consulting Group LLC, a Utah company, then we will be able to do that. I don't know why I feel like saying that, but it's just so much fun to say.
Neat. I like it.
Right.
I like it.
And so if we can get that revenue going to cover all of that back end, we'll be able to do this and be at your beck and call.
Right.
Within office hours. Let's be real. Come on, don't go crazy. Don't call me 2 a.m. I ain't answering. Maybe
you're up, but you won't answer.
You pay me enough.
I know you.
I'll take a call 24/7. I'll give you a beeper. People know what a beeper is anymore? I don't know.
Craig Hutchinson says, I know a guy who switched to paying their driver's percentage of net running the port, and it changed how they drove the truck. Absolutely.
Exactly. 100%. It will absolutely change that.
Yeah.
Instead of doing 5 loads in a day, pedal on the floor, which normally those guys that are running that kind of thing, that's what they do. But when you realize that you could do 4 loads a day, do a little bit slower, take better care of the equipment, save some fuel. Okay. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's worth it to go 6 loads a day.
Mm-hmm.
Depends
on what's paying,
Right.
I mean, I made no bones about it when I mentored Charlie. I told guys, you will drive my truck the way I tell you, damn it, because you're costing me money here.
Absolutely.
But hey, when you're in your company truck, dude, floor it.
You're Stand on that pedal, right?
You get paid by the mile, bro. Now that's changed.
Yeah.
Part of their bonuses are dependent on fuel mileage on the fuel side, on the company side, which I think was wise on their part. Yeah, I'm not going to get into it because it's not contractor business, but I have issues with their bonus program.
Right.
But yeah, it's like, I always tell people one of my favorite things about being in sales when I was in sales, I made exactly what I was worth to the company.
Right.
And if I wanted to raise, what I did? I sold 3 more units that week.
Right.
you know. And if you couldn't do that, by the way, maybe you weren't cut out to be a salesman. Just
That's
saying.
legit.
So, and that's just business, you know. If you find yourself, again, you know, we don't like to talk about the negative sides of things, but if you're just finding yourself, God, I can't make money, this, that, and the other thing, and you're not willing to do some changing in your operation, maybe this really isn't for you.
Can I throw a PSA out here real quick, Jeff?
Yeah.
Because we've had some people talking about, you know, issues with certain businesses that we do business with. Have a guy that's, you know, upset with Seabright over some stuff, and that's fine. But we found out that this is months old. Hey, look, if you guys run into a problem with one of the companies that you know we are associated with, are promoting or something like that, you need to let us know. We can't get involved and fix things if you don't tell us. If you tell me 4 months after it's already happened and you're done and you quit, and now you're just out there saying, "Oh, they're trash, garbage, they did this, they did that," I can't fix that. We can't fix that.
Yeah.
We actively work with the people that we promote, you know, Seabright Insurance, Trucker CFO, the ES Advantage people. You know, when we find problems, we go to them and say, "Hey, here's a problem." They're like, "Man, let's fix that." And we either fix it or we don't. And if they can't fix a problem that's super important, then maybe we have to look elsewhere, right? I mean, that's something we're evaluating that stuff all the time. But you guys need to let us know when there's problems. So reach out to myself, reach out to Jeff, let us know what's going on. If there's a problem, let us know, get us involved.
Yep. And you know, I just want to make sure people understand too, Charlie, that due to the nature of these businesses, I don't want you to think that like I'll call Colton up and say, "Hey, Charlie's got this business."
Right.
No, he does
It
not do
doesn't
that.
work.
What he does is like, okay, well, what is the issue that they brought to you?
Right.
Okay, let me call them tomorrow.
Right.
That's how that goes. They do not. I don't know how Charlie's business is doing through Colton
Right.
or anybody else's, because I mean, there's laws about that. You know, they can't go tell me about your business. I know that there's some untoward company people out there that might do it anyway, but these are not those people.
Right.
Yeah.
But definitely touch base with us. Let us know if you have problems.
And then let us know if it gets resolved or not.
Right.
You know,
a lot of times we'll be like,
because
"Hey, how'd that work out?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, it was solved a month ago." We're like, "Oh man, why have I been texting them?"
Yeah, because you know, one of the things I think it's important to note, Charlie, and so everybody just knows, part of the thing, especially with Seabright, one of the things we're working at with Tony and the Seabright company is to have an insurance program that is actually Contractors Corner's insurance program. And so this will become our brand.
Our name
So,
is
you
already
know,
on this.
our name's already on it. It's just not a contract we're paying you type of thing.
Right.
Yet. But, you know, so eventually this is actually going to be our brand, Contractors Corner's brand. And so it's really important to us that we get this right and that the customer service is there. You know, I come from a customer service and sales background, so that's one of my big things. So as we build this brand, realize that, you know, if you got a problem with those people, you really have a problem with us. And you know what? We're okay with that. Just let us know.
Right.
Let us know how we can do better.
We want to be able to compete with all those big things out there, right? And bring you a better product.
You can
The 800-pound gorilla.
Okay.
God, you felt it bursting, didn't you? You saw it.
Yes,
it was
I
like
did.
I was gonna twitch. But you know, look. Full disclosure, ATBS and myself parted ways, right? We had a discussion. I had an email discussion with Scott Amon, the president of ATBS. It was a fine discussion. I expressed my side. He expressed his side. We parted. We're great. Whatever. It's fine. They did a stand-up thing, and we parted ways. That's it. That's all I got to say. I think there's a better option out there. He does not believe that is true. I believe Trucker CFO will do a better job for our folks.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not mad at the guy. I mean, I don't hate the business.
It's just business. You know,
If they do better down the road, maybe we go back there. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, Colton's going to do everything he can to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yep.
You know, Colton says he's the 300-pound gorilla. He wants to eat off that 800-pound gorilla plate. He wants to take some of that food.
Yep. He's hungry to expand. So,
you know. But yeah, you guys got to let us know what's going on, please.
And, you know, also, and I'm just going to point this out, and maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to anyway.
That's fine.
When you call me and you have a problem with Trucker CFO, but you have not signed anything and paid them any money, I'm just going to put this out there. That's probably your problem.
Right.
You can, you know, he will talk to you one-on-one for a little bit, but if you expect any service from his accounting firm, I'm going to emphasize that accounting firm, this is his business.
Right.
If you want service from him, pay him.
Right.
You know, we're working on a deal with Seabright and him to do a business health checkup. And we don't know what it's going to cost yet, but Seabright has agreed to credit the amount that you pay Colton for that hour long or whatever it's going to be consultation, credit that towards your insurance bill.
And Colton mentioned that he's going to credit it towards your engaging his full-time services.
So double bonus right there.
Sweet Lord.
And I'll just tell you why Tony was interested in this as we discussed it with him. Because through his experience with Swift, this is the first time he's done a big mega carrier like this.
Right.
He has noticed, and we honestly have to agree, that he is talking to people at Swift specifically that don't know if they're even making any money. They just don't know. They don't know how to read a profit and loss statement. They don't even know what a profit and loss statement is. So he said, hey, you have this guy in Utah. Why don't we get something together with him and we'll in the end pay for it because we're going to credit their insurance bill. Right. I just want these guys to know what the hell they're doing.
Right.
That's what he said. And we agree.
Look, you're a better insurance risk.
Yep.
If you can show that you're profitable and understand that you are or are not profitable. If you're not profitable, guess what? That's where Jeff and I get to step in and say, hey, man, let us help you get through this, right? Right. There is win, 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 win written all over this whole thing. This project is win, win, win in every direction.
Yep.
It's baffling.
Yeah, because you do your consultation with Colton and lo and behold, you find out that you're really not making money. Well, then we can step in and say, well, now we have a starting point. Let's work on this.
Let's develop a plan. Let's do this. Let's do that. Have you thought about this?
Oh, wait, there's more. So, yeah. I mean, it's that's over the past 2 years, man, this is what we've been working towards, and we're pretty happy with the partnerships that we have. And yeah.
So to wrap that up, because we are at our time.
Oh,
guys,
shoot, we're over 2 hours. That time went by.
Thank you for helping us reach over 1,000 subs. It's gone up and down the last couple of days. We're at 1,009 right now, Jeff. It's funny. We were at 1,011 the other day. It dropped to 1,010, 1,010, 1,011. It's funny. It goes back and forth, which is fine. Yeah. Look, we're just happy that you guys are here. You come check us out. You hang out with us every week. Jeff, you got anything else you want to throw out there real quick?
Nope. I'm good.
All right, guys. We are going to say goodnight. Wish you all a safe travel. I'm going back to work on Thursday. I believe Jeff's doing about the same thing.
Yep.
I'll be up there at Target this week again. I may be there for the foreseeable future. I got so many damn appointments still to come up. It's crazy. Follow-ups and my neck and this, whatever. You guys be safe and look after each other. Remember, there's no one out here looking after us but us. So us and our community, we need to stay vigilant. That's it. We need to be vigilant. Look after each other. I've seen some horrible things on the roads lately, and I don't want to see any of that happen to you guys. So it would seriously traumatize me and trouble me. So be careful. If you have problems, let us know. We'll see you right here next week, 6 p.m. Eastern time, every Tuesday, y'all. Contractors Corner Consulting Group, LLC, a Utah company. We're right here, guys. We love y'all. And we'll see you next week. Be safe.